All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol NNDM, Nano Dimensions. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel. Invest for tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And stay tuned till the end of this video because we have a new ticker symbol you want to add to your watch list. Keep a close eye on moving forward. And I also am going to talk about two ticker symbols that were mentioned in the comment section in yesterday's video that I want every single investor to learn something from, and hopefully that information helps you guys understand a little bit of more insight on why I choose certain ticker symbols to add to your watch list. So stay tuned for that, learn from that in those first two ticker symbols, and the third one is the one you definitely want to stay tuned for to add to your watch list. So let's talk about Nano Dimensions first, and we'll talk more about that towards the end of this video. Nndm stock has had a run and it hit highs here of 1623. That's going to be a very important point to break through moving forward. But let's move our resistance and support to their new location based off of how the chart has moved. And we're going to look at some important information because ARK Invest is now moving around very fast and all over the place for us to track, right? It's not as easy as it was before. We were watching them and they would just buy, or they would reallocate some of those shares to another ETF. But now one ETF is going up and the other one's going down. So let's look at it. So, and I definitely recommend, excuse me for that, I definitely recommend showing this to your friends and community of investors. So here we are with yesterday, right? On the 2nd, today's the 3rd. On the 2nd, Nano Dimensions had went up. It went up to 7,093,653 shares. Well, today, this is our Q on the 3rd, and now it's 6,946,869. I said, okay, they probably reallocated some of their shares, but that's impossible because they've went down 150,000 shares again. And when I went to IZRL, a lot of people were talking about that they recently had 222,000 or 20,000 some change. And IZRL only has 270,000 right now as of today. And I've told you guys the reason why we don't follow that one is because that one moves all the different ticker symbols up together. And if one of them goes up, they all go up. And if one of them goes down, they all go down. And it's not your typical ETF like RQ and W. Those are indexes, right? An index fund, basically. So let's see here how ARKW reacted. So ARKW yesterday was 4,328,916 shares. And today it's 4,374,168. So when we look at yesterday, right, to today, it was only a difference of 50,000 shares. So if they reallocated some of their shares over to this portfolio, then there would still be 100,000 from yesterday to today that have vanished. And that is because they have been sold. That's the only thing and conclusion I can come about from this. Second time that ARK Invest sells Nano Dimensions. Interesting stuff. And something that now has me like very vigilant and I want to pay very close attention to is when these pullbacks happen, are they going to continue to buy and then when it starts to rise, sell again? Or are they taking advantage of the volatility right now before obviously the vote that has to happen towards the middle of February? Some people were asking what vote? The vote to add more shares. Okay, that is what's going to happen probably if it gets passed. I don't think ARK Invest, like some investors have stated, are in agreement with that or want that. If anything, they just want this to ride its way up naturally to newer levels, or Nano Dimensions is something that has to further branch out, right, to merge, which is something that's been talked about tremendously yesterday as well. And I was going to do a separate video about it. So I'm really thankful for the investor and viewer that took the time to reply to me yesterday and share this with me, which I was aware about it towards the middle of the day, and I was going to make a video, big news on Nano Dimensions, because there's a talks of a merger and possible additional shares, right? So I'm not putting your name out there because I don't want anyone to worry about that, and I don't know how you feel about that, so I don't want to just step on anybody's toes. But I'm thankful that you brought this up. So if you're watching this and you want to comment down below, you're more than welcome to, and I want to say thank you to you for sharing this. But yes, and some people were talking about it. Carl Square, right? It supports companies and their shareholders to assist in implementing their M&A goals. Carl Square has already introduced Nano Dimensions to several attractive targets in Europe. So Nano Dimensions is aiming to expand in Europe or partner up with a company in Europe and bring them over to the US market, or bring Nano Dimensions from the US market over to the Europe market, right? So that's a big deal. Now, what does this mean for Nano Dimensions? Well, they possibly could get more shares through this. If they can't do any more offerings and they can't, go ahead and reproduce more shares out of the existing ones that they already have, by doing this acquisition, my understanding is they combined, and then there'll be more shares. There'll be the shares from that company merged into what Nano Dimensions already is, and then there's also opportunity for growth and expansion. So what does this mean for Nano Dimensions? Further growth, in my opinion. Some people could look at it as a bad thing. Some people can look at it as a good thing. I look forward to seeing your guys' thoughts down below, how you feel that's going to affect Nano Dimensions as a company, and as a shareholder, how do you feel it's going to affect the shares price, right? So there's a vote coming up. I'm not sure if ARK Invest is fully for it, because part of the comment here is, please add this to your research, as ARK Invest doesn't want any more of the direct offerings. So they're partnering to the bank to acquire more fund instead. Today at last minute, they bought more shares as they're sold yesterday, right? So this individual investor and viewer was stating that ARK Invest isn't really up for the direct offering, and I've seen other investors state this as well, so I could see why. And then they're partnering up with Carl Square, that is going to give them the opportunity to go ahead and merge or further expand in Europe, especially how they say that. We want to expand in a geographical footprint to other areas and go into vertical markets, go sideways all around the world, which is pretty cool. And today at last minute, ARK Invest bought. Yes, they bought yesterday and they're selling today. What does that mean for us as investors? Well, ARK Invest right now is rebalancing. As long as like 1 million shares don't just vanish and disappear, which means they've become from a holding position to a selling position, I think we should be fine as investors watching ARK Invest closely. But it's very interesting to me that the first upward trend, they went ahead and sold, right? This is the first upward trend after this downward trend. Then also a lot of investors are feeling a little bit hesitant of loading up right now due to the fact of that vote coming up towards the middle of the month. And if that doesn't go through, then Nano Dimensions is going to partner up with some company in Europe based off of what we see and what has been stated. So again, I want to say thank you to every single investor that piggybacks off of what I say, updates me, or shares any information. But I apologize, I wasn't able to implement this because I was trying to do a separate video on it to not overwhelm everyone with all the information. But today, Nano Dimensions has ran up, quick pullback, and ARK Invest has loaded up some shares off of their ETF, right? They literally went ahead and shipped them out. So we got to see if they load up soon or what is their next plan. So here we are. Support is 1506. If this gets broken through, the 50-day moving average is 1481, and we need to watch this carefully to see if the stock is falling lower fairly quickly or if the bulls are trying to reappear and bring it back up to maintain momentum. So 1506, we're currently at 1531. If 1506 gets broken through, we want to watch this carefully between support and the 50-day moving average to see how the stock is reacting and if the bulls can reappear or are the bears tearing this one down. Now, on the other hand, the highest point before the drop is 1599, but right up here at this peak before the fall, 1605 is just as important, and that needs to be broken through by the bulls to reach newer highs and new resistance levels. The highest point reached in the day was up here at 1624, and that's important for the next coming days and weeks to see if this can continue to pull its upward trend. But 1605 is super important for the bulls to turn into a support and work their way up to newer highs and new resistance levels. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Stay tuned till the end to see all the information that we have on the two ticker symbols and the ticker symbol you want to add to your watch list. So for everyone that has stayed to this point in the video, the ticker symbol I'm going to share with you guys is in the mobile gaming sector, and there's so much room moving forward for this stock. Now, before we talk about that stock that you want to add to your watch list in the mobile gaming sector, I have two ticker symbols to share with you guys that other investors talked about, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time, and I'm going to share how I feel about them. So AVGR, it's a penny stock. Would I ever recommend a penny stock? Probably if there's a big event coming up or I know anything that is going to create a catalyst, I would mention it and tell you guys it's a very speculative play. There's high risk, high reward, high risk, high loss as well, right? So I definitely would state that when I'm talking about a ticker symbol like this. Would I recommend this? No, I would not tell anyone to add this to their watch list because I don't really know why it's running up. I haven't had time to check it out. It might be that they're finally becoming profitable or a new innovation that's giving this optimistic outlook, which the chart is looking pretty good so far, but the total market cap is so small that if you get in now and this becomes a $1 billion company or more, then you got in on time. But how do you know it's going to get there? It takes so much other understanding, right? You got to dig real deep. So I don't like the market cap that much. And the second thing is the income statements in the last 3 years up to 2019, from 2016 to 2019. And in the quarterly, we can see in 2020, not a single profitable dollar, right? Never been profitable. And even on the annual, it's never been profitable in the last 4 years. Now, what has changed from 2020 December to 2021 January? Could it have finally become profitable? Probably. Or it's an innovation. I don't understand this company enough to tell anyone to add this to their watch list, but this is a swing trade play or a day trade play based off the chart. I mean, you could see it here, how it's reacted a few times within just a few days throughout December, and even now in January after this pullback, it's already running back up. Now, I saw this come up on my stock screener a few times, and that's definitely something that was interesting, the amount of volume that it had, but that was just, a ticker symbol that you would swing trade or day trade. Did I consider at some point swing trading this or day trading in this? I did, but I try to stay away from these when I don't know enough, okay? Because it's very risky. Now, the second one is ASX. Now, this is comparable to yesterday's mention, which is UMC. And UMC is worth a little bit more than this one, but when we look at this chart, it's been growing exponentially around the same time frame as UMC. Very interesting. So this is another competitor in the semiconductor sector. So for the investor that mentioned this one, thank you so much for sharing it and bringing it to everyone's attention. It looks like it's had a lot of growth, but the market cap is a little bit smaller. I do want you guys to be aware of that. So if the market cap was to grow to 23 billion and it's worth more than the other one, right, which is UMC, that could be a sign that it's right there fighting with it and they're around the same valuation. But if it comes up to 23 billion and the total amount per share is less than $9.50, that was where UMC was yesterday when we talked about it, then there could be some upward room here because it has $1 to grow and they're at the same market cap. So that means that it's almost a whole dollar ahead. I know it's kind of confusing. So the higher the market cap and the lower the US dollar, the better of a chance there is that as it continues to grow, it can actually grow with it and grow even more exponentially. So that's going to be interesting. It's a little bit below it and you could see the price difference, right? It's $2 and some change, but they are far apart from each other when it comes to the market cap and also revenue, okay? So revenue fluctuates a little bit here for this company, like up and down. It's a little bit wild. And then it was a lot more revenue back in 2016 than it has been now. And net income. Revenue has been growing, right? And here we could see the revenue going up and down and then net income going up and down with it. But the annual revenue has been growing year after year. But the thing is, net income is more important than revenue, and net income has gone down. So every single year, it's gone lower and lower to the point that it's almost dropped to a point where it's like $500 million, but now revenue is like 13 billion. That means more money's coming in, but not a lot of money staying. It's like probably going out into different costs. So this makes this a little bit different than UMC. UMC is a growing company. Now, I'm not saying ASX isn't growing, but in the last couple of years, revenue has gone up and profit margin has gone down. So something's going on there with their profits. Either they're taking on more debt. Who knows what they're doing? You'll have to do further digging, but this is one to definitely think about. But UMC is growing tremendously compared to this one. So what's the ticker symbol you guys want to add to your watch list? Well, that is Glue Mobile. GLUU, Glue Mobile Inc. Now, this is the one that's been downgraded. It's sitting at $8.98, and price targets are up at the $10 range. Now, it's been dropped by a few cents, but there's still room from $10 to $11 from where we're at. And even if this pulls back down to that $8.50, even down here to $7.70, or even these lows of $6.80, there's so much room. We'll have to see why it's falling and what price targets are being reiterated if they continue to get downgraded. But if they stay the same, that might be an opportunity. So this is definitely one you want to add to your watch list. Do further due diligence, do further research, check out more articles. And there was a rumor that Glue Mobile Inc. was going to probably merge, right, with Tencent. And that might be Tencent's opportunity to get into the markets and not just be over-the-counter market through Tencent, but if not through Glue Mobile, which is pretty interesting as well. So if anybody knows any more information on that, or if that rumor has died down, please comment down below. But this is definitely one to add to your watch list moving forward. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community. And don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you guys so much, and let's make some money.